Hello and welcome to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes or Less Ship Review, I'm going to be taking a look at the new F7C Hornet MK2. Let's go ahead and take a look at this thing. Starting off with Anvil's newest space superiority fighter, this thing is quite the beast. But first, let's talk about the price of this ship. Starting off, War Bond, it is $160, which is quite high in comparison to the F7C Hornet, the normal one, and then $175 if you were to go store bond. So again, it's got quite the lift in the price tag area, but it's definitely Anvil's newest, more upgraded Hornet, so you'll see that in a lot of the design language. Everything's a bit tighter on this, it looks nicer, a lot more sleek, definitely like that. And you definitely have a difference in weapons packages for being this to the normal one. Starting off talking about weapons, let's say, oh, by the way, this ship, it's not available in-game for purchase yet. Obviously, it's just coming out, so you probably won't see it available until 3.24 or whatever comes after 2.3. Now, this ship does have quite the weapons on it. It's got two size 4 non-gimbaled CF447 Rhinos. These things are massive. They're just huge. But they have massive drawbacks as well, and I do want to talk about that. So, for the fact that this Hornet, the MK2, has these massive sized guns, they have a very limited capacitor. Even if you were to put 100% into the weapons, the capacitor is quite limited. Stock without that, it's 35. So 35 shots before you have to recharge these things and then get back into that fight. And you only have 2 of them. Now, if you're talking upgrades, you can definitely upgrade this ship and add the nose turret as well as the ball turret on the top, making this ship unbelievably powerful. I don't usually talk upgrades, I usually only discuss stock, but really quick, let's talk upgrades. If I were you and you have this ship, the number one thing I would do is take these guns and make them the size 4 ballistics. The AD4B guns, I think that's the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I think that was it. Now, those Gatling guns on here would be insane. They have over 1,000 rounds, and they put out massive amount of damage. You're looking at over 3,000 DPS alone, just having those 2 guns. And then if you were to throw the nose turret on there and the ball turret, you are just unstoppable. This thing will just destroy everything in its path. There's probably going to be a crowd out there that says this ship is potentially overpowered, and I do wonder how they're going to, negate that with master modes, because they're going to give even more ammo to, ballistic weapons. So I'm kind of curious by that and how this ship is going to operate. It's meant to be fast. It's meant to be nimble. So I don't really know what's the purpose of having the normal F7C Hornet other than the cost. The exterior costs on pledging or the cost in game has to be dramatically different, which it kind of is price-wise, money, but not dramatic enough to be like, you know what, I'm going to choose the regular Hornet over the MK2. So that's a bit of a conundrum, and I'm not sure how they're going to alter the way these ships really, differ. Honestly, if you're going to do this ship, the big difference is you shouldn't allow this one, and don't get me wrong, people are going to jump down my throat, but you shouldn't allow this one to mount the nose or the ball turret. I don't know, maybe there's a way to stop it from happening, maybe a lore reason why this one couldn't, and just make it to where the F7A, the militarized variant, gets that. So there is actually a big difference, because right now, once the F7A upgrade that you can get during the event gets in your hands, there's, again, no point to this. It was just a stepping stone into a ship. So I'm kind of curious where CIG is going to go with that. Can't wait to hear more about that. Now, it also has 8 size 1 Marksman 1 missiles. They're located underneath the ship. I saw 4 of them down there, and then you do have 4 more, so that's good to know. And then you also have quite the health point and shield property on this ship. You have only 3,000 shield health stock, those 2 size 1 shields, and they give you a bubble shield, so the shield does go down quite quickly when you're being shot at, it goes, you know, throughout the whole shield. It's not just one section goes down and that's it. When you're being shot at, that shield is just getting decimated all at once. So you only have 3,000 health points on your shield, so be wary of that when you're flying this thing. Because anybody knows the Hornet, once it drops its shields, can get kind of fragile with its wings and other areas of the ship. Now, this ship does have 33,905 health points, which is 12,000 more than the F7C Hornet, the base regular one. So that is, again, a big jump. And based off of what I can see stat-wise, there isn't a change in maneuverability between the two either. So this ship is moving the same. It's actually faster. This ship has a max SCM speed of about 40, I think, more SCM than the other one, or 20 or 30. But it's still a little bit faster, which is quite crazy. It really put the normal Hornet to bed, honestly. It really put a nail in its coffin. And that's just because, wow, the other one is a little bit... I can't really tell if it's smaller or not. It honestly doesn't feel much smaller. This one feels smaller, to be honest. This one here, the base, carries 2 SCU of cargo, which is quite interesting. That pod in the middle actually is a cargo area that you can carry 2 SCU. I don't know how you can get the boxes in there. There's no, way to open it up from here. If you're going into the ship, oh my goodness. If you go into the ship, you can go ahead and open up the exterior roof there by open exterior button. But other than that, I don't know how you would manually move cargo into it. Otherwise, you have 600 QT fuel, so quantum fuel, which is great. You're about your average for a fighter. Usually it's like 584, so I'm surprised by it being 600. Maybe they're going to average it out to 600 now. So either way, that's going to be interesting. So talking stock though, and these weapons do produce 511 DPS, and that's because of the capacitors. There's just not much there. So they are big weapons, and they do have they hit quite heavily, but they're just very limited by that capacitor. Now let's go ahead and hop into the interior of this ship and take a look at what you see. Now, it doesn't have a gold standard pass yet, which is surprising. The ship is being transferred over from Squadron 42. You would think you'd probably have some operational ability to open panels and, check out your components, but you absolutely cannot do that. So again, it's another ship added to the list of component pass ships, which is kind of a bummer. I was hoping the ship teams would, release these things with that update prior, just so it, takes one more off their schedule. But hey, they know what they're doing, hopefully. You can open your storage here, pilot canopy, open ladder, and enter the pilot seat. Now, once you're in the cockpit of the MK2, you'll see you only have 2 MFDs, one left, one right, and then your master alert system, of course, right above those. And then you do have, buttons left, buttons right, quite a few of them. You do have a total of 96 decoys and 10 noise, as you can see. And again, the Rhino's at 35 capacitor. If I was to put weapons at full, it would put that at 42, which isn't terrible, especially since at 42, with 100% weapons, it does reload quicker or recharges quicker. Otherwise, again, this ship is just very fast. It's very nimble. It's got the same properties of the regular Hornet. When you raise the landing gear, the wings fold out, the weapons move into position, and it looks really cool, really sleek. It's got some really big intakes. This thing almost feels more atmospheric than it does space. I can't wait to see how these ships, in comparison to certain others, fly with the new atmospheric, flight model whenever that gets released. I don't think that's coming in 3.23, but I know it will come sooner or later. Otherwise, taking a look at this ship and everything that it does have stock-wise, it's a great ship. It really is. 2 SCU of cargo, 2 size 4 guns, 8 size 1 missiles, 3,000 shield, 33,905 health, and 600 QT fuel. I would say stock, it's a solid 7 out of 10. Some people are probably going to hate me, but it just... Oh man, look at the big old blue hue on that now. That's just beautiful. Love that. I'd say it's a solid 7 out of 10 stock. Just because while it is amazing and it's maneuverable and nimble and everything, it's definitely a ship that you can just, from the get-go, forget the stock build and upgrade the hell out of it. Put that ball turret in, put the nose turret in, change these guns to ballistics, and you have a powerhouse ship. Upgraded, this thing's a 10 out of 10. Absolutely. there's no reason why you wouldn't put all those on there. Even if it changes your EM and makes you a little bit more visible on radar, it's definitely a ship that can take those upgrades and become just a monster. And some people will, you know, say overpowered, which potentially could be. We'll see how Master Modes comes about. So stock, 7 out of 10, upgraded, 10 out of 10. Master Modes, we'll need to review it again once we have an update on that. It's going to be quite interesting. So let me know what you think of this ship down in the comments below. Are you going to own this one over the regular F7 Hornet? If you are, why? If you're not, why not? Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.